Alright guys, this is a channel update, and for those of you that don't want to watch the whole thing, I'm going to break it down here real quick for you. I quit my job, I'm going to start full-time streaming, and I'm starting with a subathon starting on May 8th. There you have it. But I'm going to elaborate on everything right now. So as you saw on the YouTube channel, I put out a series of videos, kind of like teasers, but some of you kind of figured out what was happening. Although nobody really, there was one person that guessed that it was going to be a subathon on May 8th. But I am going to start a subathon May 8th. That's going to go for a couple weeks. I haven't really decided on if there's going to be a cutoff on it or anything. But anyway, let me elaborate here. This is, I'm not scared at all. No, I did make the plunge to do full-time streaming. I've been streaming for 10 years now. The way my job works, I'm a union employee, and over the years, I would work mostly during the summer months, and then I would get like 2, 3, sometimes 4 months off in the winter, just due to lack of work. I work in northern Illinois, so in the winter, there's not a lot of construction going on. I work in the construction materials sector of the deal of the business. So I test like asphalt and concrete and soils and stuff like that. So you can't really be moving soil when it's frozen here in Illinois. I mean, you can, but so anyway, lack of work would lead to a layoff every winter, and that's when I started I got to fill my time somehow. In the winter, so that's when I started like streaming and sim racing and stuff way back in the day, and that worked out really well. Where once I'd get laid off, then I'd start streaming. It was great. Build up, built up, somewhat of a following on the platforms there on Twitch and YouTube, and it's just been great. It's been my hobby, but certain circumstances has happened to where I can actually do this full time now, and it's just kind of happened in six. Like once the dominoes started falling, and what it was is Twitch changed their policy to where now you can do dual streaming. So a couple months or whatever ago, I started streaming both on Twitch and YouTube. That helps. And then also with the Partner Plus program on Twitch, to where now, thanks to you guys, we're able to get 70% revenue instead of 50% revenue for the Twitch subs. And by far, none of this would be possible without you guys, obviously. So I do appreciate you guys for all the continued support and the generosity that you guys have shown throughout the years. I mean, to get to this point, to go full time, to make this decision, it all rests on your guys' shoulders. Like the reason could even make this decision is because of you. So I do appreciate it so much. I just can't believe. I mean, yeah, it's just crazy that it's turned into this. But so yeah, sim racing has always been my hobby, and then now, what's happened is like. I do the math, we did the calculations, and we're like, you know what? Like, we could actually make this work going full time. Now, what really tipped it over the scales is that we got Ace on board. Okay, so Ace is here with us, and they've agreed to a long-term partnership agreement. So huge props to Ace. I've absolutely loved working with them. They give me really freedom, creative control over the partnership and how I decide to promote it. And I've been using their gear for a while. You guys know me. I love the Ace gear. It's absolutely fantastic, high quality stuff. So we got Ace on board. We got the Partner Plus program, the dual streaming. You guys, I mean. And you add it all up, and really the rise of sim racing popularity is a huge factor of it. And I think we're kind of past the COVID bubble of of the huge rise in sim racing and stuff. I think we've seen maybe it dipped down a little bit, but we see a huge growth in sim racing, and I don't really see that going away too much. I mean, listen, this is all a gamble. It's all risky. But let me explain the working thing. So I've worked at my job for 20 years. 20 years doing the same thing, working for the same company in the same union. And at this point, looking at the numbers, because I know a lot of people said like, oh, he can't go full time because he's got benefits through the union and he's got a sweet gig through there and it's golden handcuffs and all this stuff, and that is true. And in the years past, I've kind of, as a coping mechanism, I'm like, well, sim racing's my hobby. I got a great job. It's got great benefits. I can't quit my job. But here I am. But looking at it and I do understand the debate with the benefits and everything, because the health insurance, the pension, there's a supplemental 401k, stuff like that. Yes, like obviously, if I don't work another hour, like my pension is waiting for me. I can start collecting it at 55. I mean, I'm already 40, but it basically won't get any bigger. But it's pretty substantial as it is. But it doesn't just because I wouldn't be working for an employer doesn't mean you can't invest in your own future. Like, there's no reason why I can't set something up to, plan for the future. So, guys, I've thought about all this, but the big one is health insurance. The health insurance is the really big one, especially here in the U.S. So, if I don't work another day for the company, which I won't be for right now, I have full health insurance, the same plan we've had on the union, for an additional 2 years. So I have full health insurance for 2 years for the family, for me, everything. It's really great coverage as well. And there's a possibility to be able to extend that with a cash payments. So that's, and really, to be honest, that was one of the big linchpins, if I'm using that correctly, to really make this decision to go full time, is that health insurance with 2 kids, and all that stuff. So yeah, don't worry. I have full health insurance for an additional 2 years as it stands right now. It just happened. It's just the way the union works. I was single for so long, and I was on like the lower end health insurance plan, and I was working a bunch of hours, and I was just stacking credits, So I just have a big bank of credits basically. So yeah, don't worry about that. And also, listen, I talked to my employer. Like I said, I've been there for 20 years. I talked with them. I talked with the union. I'm going to stay active in the union. I'm going to pay my dues. It's not that much to keep an active card for me. It's like a couple $100 a year. I talked to my boss, and it's basically like, be like, hey, we're always in need for good help. So, in a year or a year and a half or 2 years, whatever, come on back. We'd be happy to have you back. So it's like, I not only did I not burn bridges, but I kept the thing open for sure. So it's really the perfect scenario to be able to do this. If you want to call it like, some people are saying like, oh, maybe he's taking a leave of absence from work, and it's like, well, you can call it that, but my plan is to never go back. Obviously, I'm going to do everything I can with the stream and the channels to obviously to keep it going and be able to keep doing this full time, because I'm telling you guys, 20 years and particularly like what I was doing is just not very fulfilling. And I just get so excited for the winters. But even when winter would hit, like the winter would hit, my wife Samantha would be like, "Oh, great, you're home. You're home more with the kids and everything." But then it's like, well, I know, but I need to do like full time streaming, and I never really. It was always just still a hobby, and I never was able to like plan, more long term stuff with the stream, what I really want to do. And so this is just going to give me so much more flexibility, more long term planning. I got like so many ideas to be able to do with you guys, and it's going to be amazing. So I'm just so excited to be able to not have that burden of of work and all that stuff and what comes with that, and really see what we can do with this full-time stuff, man, because I am just like so excited for it. And I know I've always said like, oh, don't turn your hobby into a job, then it's a job. And it's like, you know what? Like, that was a lot of coping. Like, I cannot wait to like delve into this and see what the possibilities are, because we can go to like events and just there's so many cool things. It's going to be so much fun. Let's see. But yeah, we got Ace Attack on board. That was huge. You guys obviously are number one. And I didn't want to rely solely on the community to be able to make this plunge. Like, be like, take a look at the numbers and be like, well, if the community really shows up, maybe we can make it happen. And then, what am I begging for money every stream? I don't want that. So in order to really make this happen, Ace Attack is a big part of it. And so, because I want you guys to be able to enjoy the content and basically keep it the same, just improve it and just have more of it, basically. So I don't want you guys to feel like you need to keep the full-time streaming thing going. Okay, just enjoy it whenever you want and just be part of the community. That's what I want for you guys. So, anyway, and the family's on board. Samantha she's on board. She's helping, which is absolutely huge. She's just an amazing person. So to have her support and to help me out with this is a huge help. So the schedule moving forward now. Discounting the Subathon. The Subathon is going to be, I'm kind of taking a page out of Corkatai's book where we basically just stream when I'm awake, I'm not going to stream myself sleeping, This isn't my OnlyFans. So basically stream from the time I get up, time I go to bed. I know there's going to be some issues with like, the family stuff where, there's going to be a couple breaks here and there, but mostly, I won't be trapped in my sim rig either. We're going to be hanging out upstairs, whatever, having some meals together. But with like certain things, like if I'm putting the family to bed, I'll put on a clip show or something. But otherwise, stream into the night a little bit here and there. And then when I wake up, start streaming again. So it's going to be, I've never done a subathon. I have no idea how it's going to go. It could be boring as hell, and I may just be like, all right, that's it, But I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go. I would imagine I'm probably going to have to put a cap on it. And I'm trying to do the dual streaming thing for Twitch and YouTube. So then there's like, I think I got it figured out with a certain program called Botrix where you can combine it all. So like a channel member on YouTube is like a sub on Twitch and it adds it all to it. But I got ideas for milestones. Oh, I also wanted to ask you guys, put down in the comments, give me some ideas for milestones. So I got like 4 or 5 of them. But whenever I Google like good milestones for Twitch subathons, it's always like dye your hair blue and eat a hot pepper, and it's like, come on, we can get a little bit more creative with that. So a couple of the things is like obviously like if we hit a certain milestone, we're gonna have Samantha do some racing. It's been a long time since we had a lapping in luxury. Another one is my dad. In our family, my dad has an old Model T and an old 1955 Buick. So I talked to him already to see if they're up and running, and they are. So he's like, yeah, whenever you want, I can come on over with the Model T, and we can go for a ride or something, or just take a look at it. So that's going to be a milestone, is get some old car footage, because what I'll be able to do is use my phone as a webcam. So I'll be able to take you guys anywhere, hopefully, if I set it up right. I can take you guys upstairs. We can have meals. We can go out, take a look at cars, like whatever, even possibly go to the golf range I was thinking about. But milestones, if you guys got any great ideas for milestones, let me know down in the comments. But the normal schedule moving forward for just regular full-time streaming after the subathon is going to be Tuesday nights. Same thing, same schedule for Tuesday nights, starting at like 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, going to like midnight or whatever. And then it's going to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from noon to 6 p.m. Central Time, Chicago time. And then Saturday's kind of it's kind of up in the air right now because I know there's a lot of special events on iRacing and stuff like that. That'll kind of fit in there because I plan on doing like all the iRacing special events, right? I can finally do it. Not only, usually I do Daytona 24, Bathurst 12 hour, and that's basically it because then I'm back working again. But be able to do some big endurance events, and it's just going to be it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. So if you've been with me this long, 10 years, your generosity and support has finally paid off. Wow. That's talk about delayed gratification. But maybe you guys don't want me to go full time. Maybe like, good Lord, Malone. Be like, you're on twice a week right now. And it's just too much for me. So, no. You guys probably get sick of me. But anyway, that would be the deal. It ends up being, the way I got it figured, it's about 30 hours a week. So, and maybe more, maybe less. I mean, you know, whatever. It's full time. So, be able to see me on like most days. And then also with the YouTube, for an entire year, I was putting out a video per day. And I did that for a year. And, you know, it's probably not the best strategy. Plus, they're just ripped videos from the live stream. And now that I'm streaming on YouTube as well, you can just watch the VOD to see all the races. I want to do, like, you know, maybe a big race during the week, like a super high strength of field race. Maybe put that up, but, like, also just, like, some talking head videos like this, where maybe I give my thoughts on a topic, on a timely topic or something, sim racing related or whatever. Make some videos like the one you guys saw, the superhero video, or just fun stuff like that. Because, yeah, we'll see. I'm still. If you guys got any suggestions for that too, I mean, I think less is more for the YouTube. Quality over quantity for sure for the YouTube. And, you know, moving forward, I'm definitely going to change that. But also, in order to give you guys more options to support the stream, support the live streams, and this whole full-time adventure, I did set up a Patreon page. In no way should you feel obligated to sign up for the Patreon. But there is going to be some exclusive content over on the Patreon. Right now, I'm going to be doing one video per week that's exclusive to the Patreon. This is going to be a video in which I do a race that's not live stream. So basically, it's just going to be me and you, and we're going to be hanging out, and I'm going to be doing a race, and it's going to be a little bit more intimate. But it's not going to be live streamed. This is going to be a race that I do, and I just record it locally and then upload it. And that's going to be once a week over on the Patreon. Now, you're going to get that exclusive video on the Patreon no matter what tier that you choose to be on the Patreon. As of right now, this is all new, but you know, you can sign up for, like, I think the first one's like $10, and then all the way up to, you know, there's a bunch of tiers, right? So if you want to give me $50 a month on the Patreon, you're getting the same exclusive content than the guy paying the $10 a month, you know? That's just the way I got it set up right now. It's just a way for you guys to be able to support me if that's what you want to do. And then obviously in the future, there's going to be basically, like, you'll get shout outs, like, you know, a lot of people have on their live stream, like, thanks to our supporters on the Patreon, boom, and it lists your name out and stuff. And I can do a special shout out for, like, the big time, you know, high end tier Patreon members. But it's still all kind of a work in progress. But by the time the Subathon rolls around, the Patreon will be live, and I'm going to plan on having 2 videos, exclusive videos on the Patreon by the time the Subathon begins on May 8th. So check that out. The website, updating the website. If you guys want, on the website, I'm going to have rules and not rules, but like basically like a full-on explanation of the subathon with all like the different, like if you sub, how many minutes and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to get that all together. But yeah, this was all kind of in the works for about a month and a half or so. And I was waiting on confirmation on a couple of things. And then once I got that, then I talked to my boss. And I was actually going to go part-time at my employer. I'm kind of rambling at this point. And we worked out a deal where it was going to be, okay, well, I'll work the construction industry on Mondays and Tuesdays. That's it. Monday, Tuesday, and then stream Tuesday night, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I mean, this would have been a crazy schedule, but I was willing to do it. So, and then you're like, okay, well, yeah, we'll just have you come in Mondays and Tuesdays, and if we need you, blah blah blah. And then talking to the union started talking to the employer, and the employer was like, and because the way the union does it is the benefits are paid out like per like 40 hours or whatever. And so they didn't want to do the whole like, hey, if you work an hour, we pay an hour of benefits. Like my employer would have had to pay fully into the union benefits as if I was a full-time employee. And it's understandable. The employer doesn't want to do that, and I get that. And the union, I talked to the union, and they're like, yeah, no, you know, if you work part time, your employer still has to pay the full benefits. And I'm like, well, what if we all work together? We can't do it. I thought you're supposed to fight for my rights, bro. You know. But they're like, yeah. He's like, imagine getting a sandwich, and you take a bite out of the sandwich, and then you throw the rest of the sandwich away. And I was like, huh? And I was like, okay, well, what if you get a sandwich, and instead of taking any bite, you throw the whole thing away? And he's like, oh, well, yeah, well, you know, we just can't do it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, buddy. So, yeah, you know, and I was doing that. Like, I would be willing to work part-time for them just because, you know, 20 years, man, they've done a lot for me. So I was willing to be like, hey, this is a little transition period, maybe till the winter or whatever, work part-time 2 days a week for the whole summer, and then winter come around and be like, okay, we'll see what the winter does, and then we'll see, give me a call spring. I'll let you know what's going on. But, yeah, no, they didn't go for it. So then I'm like, oh, boy. I'm like, all right, we're really doing this, and crunch the numbers again, think about it, but it's happening. So it is a little scary, but I think once we get into it, after the subathon, once we get into a normal schedule and see how it goes, then I think I'll be a little bit more comfortable with it because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm scared, but I'm like, oh, yeah. But I can go back to the employer, if I need to give it a year and a half. We'll see where we're at, reevaluate. But there's so much stuff like merch and events, and just there's so much stuff that we can do now and plan for that I wasn't able to do before. So I'm super excited. Hope you guys take the journey with me. It all begins May 8th, okay, with the subathon. So I hope you're there. I'm actually going to go to the day that you're seeing this. If you're watching this on Sunday, Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, I'm at Tony Kanan's garage. He's doing a charity event, so I'm sure there might be some content. I think I was going to live stream some of that. But, yeah, maybe I'll make some content for that. But the first, real wave of full-time, May 8th. I hope you're there for it, because I'll be there. You may pop it in the stream, and I either might be racing a Mazda or I'm eating a falafel. You just never know. I'm going to be live every day, all day, okay? So come check it out. And maybe by the end of the subathon, I'll call my employer back up and be like, okay, I'm coming back to work. This whole streaming thing didn't work out. No, that's the last thing I want to do. So thank you guys so much. Thanks for dealing with the teaser videos. I know they're a little weird, but I hope you guys like the Ace Man one. That was fun to make. And that's kind of the stuff I want to make more of in the future. So anyway, this video is probably way too long anyway. If you made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you on May 8th. It's going to be a big one. See you then.